Ladies and gentlemen, back at it again. The legendary Nerd-O Round Table with no ado at all. The thing that we've been waiting for damn near ever. And I'm going to say that because I feel like the circle is complete. I laughed, I cried, I cheered. What if T'Challa became Star-Lord? Blew my fucking mind. The round table is assembled. Tom is talking Cunningham. What it is, King.
Wakanda forever.
Ryan Twitch Master McBain.
What's crack-a-lackin'?
Anthony from 2 Cubicles Down.
What's going on?
Mo Kelly.
Hola, estoy aquí.
And last but never ever least, Dr. Liz from the freeway. How you doing, girl?
Hello. Yeah, I'm about to get back to the freeway.
Boom. I love it already.
Yeah, she's in a closet. She's in R. Kelly. She's in the...
Let's not get into R. Kelly today on the first day of testimony. Let's move right
on.
That's
true.
Damn.
In the closet.
Already it's scary. Oh, it's already scary what's coming out.
Talk about people in the closet. What did I do with my hands? And this is one of what, 3 or 4?
Yeah,
3 or 4 trials?
Man. Look, yeah. It's scary what's coming out of that. The details that they are sharing and shocking everyone's mind for some reason. People who didn't believe the whole Aaliyah controversy, everything's going on. I'm just like, wow, really? I'm like, okay, cool. Play catch up. Play catch up. Why don't you?
We worked in the music industry. Tom worked in the music industry. We knew all this firsthand.
Can we say that the thing that made me laugh the most, and I know I shouldn't laugh, is the fact that he just gave his one purse audience solo, like serenading at the prison. So he had an audience of 1.
You know what?
Look,
as opposed to
I'm so
on
freaky
this,
tonight.
let's not turn this into what if R. Kelly were actually innocent.
Look, this episode of What If,
to you by,
I hope at least for everyone who had so many doubts about the first episode, which was shocking to me. There are people who were like, well, I didn't like the fact, Peggy Carter, she was looking all strong. I mean, these are some of the comments that I was hearing. I was like, so your issue was that when Peggy Carter received the super soldier serum, she was yoked? Okay, sure, fine. A lot of people were not on board with the first episode. They didn't get it for some reason, even though they explained it in the beginning of the episode, what's going on. Still didn't get it. A lot of people weren't on board. All the reviews for episode 2 thus far are saying this is revolutionary. Oh my God, it touched my heart. I cried, I cheered. This is everything I wanted. Ryan, I know, said he had a few issues, which shocked me because I've already seen it like 5 times. That's how much I liked it.
Well, okay,
what
don't
were your
bite my
issues,
head off.
Ryan?
Okay, I like the episode. Okay, so don't bite my head off. Okay, I come in peace. Okay, I come in peace.
It looks like you're about to come in peace.
You ain't no peace.
No. Hey, I come in peace.
All right, Rutger Hauer.
Okay, but the voice acting was great. Okay, Chadwick Boseman was phenomenal. I even liked the Easter egg. His ship's name was Mandela. I was like, okay, that makes sense because in 1988, Mandela was still around. I'm like, okay, that's cool.
Still around.
1988, Liz. Maybe a little before your time. Or
excuse me, I was there. Were you there? Were you
yes.
there?
My parents took me to the Oakland Coliseum to see him talk.
Okay, and I went.
Yes,
to
and it was a beautiful thing because this was before the internet.
Don't say he was around.
No,
Boy, man just got out of prison.
Well, you made it seem like you know what I was talking about.
No,
but anyway, as I was saying before, I was derailed. What I did not like was, did the writers just forget the power set of Thanos? He's a lot more powerful than that. Him almost getting killed by 2 members of the Black Order. I was like, what?
He took on the Hulk.
Yeah, he took on the Hulk
with
easily.
Ease. He walked through the Hulk.
Yeah.
Also, now I know that all you have to do to stop Thanos is just have a nice long conversation with him. Then he won't try and do mass genocide. That was really weird to me. I was like, huh? You just talk to him?
I can see that because he did a lot of talking at the end of Endgame.
Let me jump in on that one. I think the point is that T'Challa, as a person who had been in space for like 20 years, he intercepted Thanos. It wasn't like he just met Thanos right before this episode.
Yeah.
My understanding is that he intercepted Thanos, and his philosophical bent, even as from what he got as in Wakanda as a child, he intercepted Thanos before he even started looking for the Infinity Stones, and he was able to convince him with the power of his spirit and his intelligence and his mentorship that there was another way. Now,
not buying that.
Well, I get that, and let me just say that I wouldn't say I didn't like the episode because I liked the way the episode ended, but it did not hold my attention throughout the entire episode. I literally I'm telling you, before the Thanos reveal, which I thought changed everything, and then I was like, no, I gotta watch this now. I literally looked at I turned on a YouTube video about a related MCU topic because I was like, I'm just saying,
dude,
the
look,
way
seriously,
it started, I was not sure at all.
You should be attacking him, not me.
From the way this episode started, they set the tone by rewriting every single thing you knew about the way things happen. When he walks in, Jaimin Hunsu's character, I can't remember his name.
Korak.
He walks in.
Korak.
Yes.
Yeah.
When he walks in, and that whole scene that everyone knows that was the famous Guardians of the Galaxy, Star-Lord, my name, and he bows down to this man. They set the tone and said, this is exactly what you would expect if Black Panther had become Star-Lord. After you set the tone and say, like, we're changing everything about what happened in Guardians of the Galaxy and subsequently in the damn universe, the fuck else you want? You're all in at that point.
Can I dovetail on that, Tom, before you jump in?
Mm-hmm.
I think you are right in the sense that T'Challa intercepted the ideological maturation of Thanos and what he was going to become. But going to Tuala's point, we have a Star-Lord through T'Challa, which has had a galaxy-wide impact. And we see that from the moment that he steps on screen. And so since everyone is already familiar with this Star-Lord in the way that Thanos was not in our sacred timeline, it made perfect sense to me that the impact of T'Challa on the galaxy was going to be distinct and wide-ranging in nature. So a kinder, somewhat gentler Thanos wasn't as jarring to me or even out of sorts. I believe that if you could have intercepted him when he was just more philosophical as opposed to maniacal, then we have a whole different story arc for him.
My only other question is, they never really explained why they called him Star-Lord. Now, in Guardians of the Galaxy, they had a nice, great explanation, very touching. This one, they're just like, oh, he's Star-Lord. It was just, how did he get his name?
Did they? What was the explanation in the original movie? I just knew he was Star-Lord because Peter.
No,
he got a letter from
his movie. He got the name from his mom.
From his mother.
His mom
is that
called him
what
My
it
Little
was?
Star-Lord.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, got it. Yeah, that
in this film, they explain the
I know you hate
Star-Lord.
Peter Quill. I know you hate that
Yondu
guy.
explains Star-Lord as far as his
wandering the stars
and his wanting to conquer the
explore.
stars and be out there like that. That is how they explained it in almost just as, if you want to call it, sweet manner, and saying like, look, like you are the Lord of the stars. You have conquered the galaxy with your philosophy, with just the fact that he was like with that first Infinity Stone that they found, he was like, this could power a planet, this could save a world. Even the Robin Hood versus Robin Leach joke, all the beats that they followed in Guardians of the Galaxy was great, man.
By the way, what was trending is on Twitter is about the fact that rumor has it that somebody dies in Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
I'd see that.
So somebody's
died in all of them.
Yeah.
But one of the main characters. And so one of the things that they want, there's people are trying to get people to die. No, it's Peter Quill. Like that's the number one thing
Yeah,
on
send
Twitter
him
is
back.
that they want
Send
him
him back to
dead.
the
They
burger
ain't,
joint.
they ain't gonna
I'd
kill
be
him off.
down.
No, they're not gonna kill him. But
speaking of
Dave
Drax,
Dude, you
Bautista
hate
has
that actor
hinted that
so
he's
much,
out.
man.
Yeah. No.
Speaking of Drax, making him a bartender, just for the sake of making him a bartender to be in this episode.
No. But that's the
No,
whole
that's
point.
not what it was.
His family is still alive.
His
They're trying
family's
to
still
tell
alive.
you.
He has no
I
conscience
get that,
anymore.
but it just wasn't the way they made Korath the fanboy of Star-Lord, the way they
I don't like that either.
weakened Thanos. I think the best thing they did was with Nebula, making her not robotic and an organic semi, and what they did with the Collector.
I miss Gamora too, and I have to say, I don't know who Benicio del Toro had to pleasure to get that yoked up version of himself.
Look, this is an all new Collector. This is a Collector who's not playing.
I guess so.
He looked like
he was working on his core. I'll say that.
At least
he looked like hosting the show.
Because you don't have a good core, your back be hurting. You gotta cook on that core, man.
But you said you like What If. That's what If is about.
No,
everyone is on a different path.
No, it was just funny to me. How,
I mean, and you have to think like, without Thanos going around destroying planets the way he was looking for Infinity Stones, there is no Drax the Destroyer. That doesn't exist. The character being in there and being a bartender is just a funny joke and a nod to just and the way they still play his character. Like, you look terrible in this picture. Shit like that was like they kept the core elements of the characters. Even my man Taserface, shit was great, man.
As soon as they introduced T'Challa's impact by way of Thanos, I was in. I thought I didn't even mind the Korath fanboying because, again, that was the very first indication that everything was totally different. I didn't mind it. I'm just saying I didn't need the background on T'Challa running through the fields and being accidentally kidnapped instead of Peter Quill, and he doesn't look like Peter Quill, and all humans look alike to me. You're humanoid. You're all three humanoid aliens standing in the room. Don't tell me all humans look alike to you.
Yeah, but they also ain't humans.
That's the Guardians of the Galaxy humor, though.
No, I get it. I'm just saying it didn't hold my attention until we saw that there was some real impact.
Then that's kind of like a to each his own kind of thing. Because that's like wow.
But here's the other piece of it that I didn't embrace quite as much as you did, Tuala and Mo. When you introduce Thanos being the ultimate impact of this what if, it to me kind of shifted a little bit. Like, yes, T'Challa convinced Thanos to not be the ender of the entire universe, but that's what I was focused on. I was like, oh wow, Thanos really is he playing a long game? Is he going to flip at the end? Is he going to call the Dark Order to be his disciples after he beats them? What's the end game here? And then when it ended with him still being Thanos, I was like, okay, I get it. So it is real. He did change the course of the entire universe, which is of course much bigger than what Captain Carter did. And so I did end up there. Before the episode, I was like, why would T'Challa being Star-Lord, why would that even be a thing? But the thing that I really took away from this is that Boseman recorded 3 more episodes of dialogue as T'Challa.
Yeah.
And so I am very interested. And also, while I was trying to figure that out, guess which Avenger also did not do their voiceover work? And I'm not talking about Chris.
Oh yeah,
that was easy.
This is Coming to America.
No, I mean, again, for me, when you walk into this episode and it is what if, and the whole story is what if T'Challa was taken instead of Peter Quill. How do you go into that story without starting at the essential point in Guardians of the Galaxy when he was taken?
You know what?
And then everything set off from there.
That's what the episode was called. Instead of what if T'Challa was Star-Lord, I'd be with you.
But how is he Star-Lord if you don't go through the Guardians of the Galaxy story?
I don't mind you saying that. I'm just saying, what if T'Challa was Star-Lord? To me, I was like, I'm not an especial fan of Star-Lord.
I think that's the issue.
Yeah.
I think therein lies the issue.
Wait, just 1 second. Thanos in the MCU, Thanos was Thanos before we were introduced to Star-Lord. He was already a rat bastard. And so, to me, when you said, what if T'Challa was Star-Lord? I'm thinking, what if T'Challa was some silly comic relief person in a movie piece of the franchise that I didn't particularly care for? If it had been, what if T'Challa were taken instead of Peter Quill, then it wouldn't have been Star-Lord as a funny, goofy character. It would have been what T'Challa in space. And what they got me to was T'Challa in space equals Thanos does not destroy the universe. And I went with it. But
no, but Ego does.
Yeah, but that's weird.
Well,
it's like going into
maybe,
it is weird with that.
They said maybe Ego does, but it's another story.
Yeah.
And so it's quite possible that in the way that, granted, there's no way that Ego would have been able to not turn Peter Quill Mopper. Got that. But
Dairy Queen.
Also, yeah, Dairy Queen. But Ego also he didn't come to Earth to find Peter. He only found Peter because Peter was out in space. He might have eventually found him because he was going back to other planets, but it's not a foregone conclusion that would have played out with Ego controlling the universe.
It also took him a long time to find Peter too.
It
took him a long, but they kept
looking.
that the same. Like they kept it that he found him, as an adult, still, for all intents and purposes, still almost a loser, in the eyes of the world. But when you walk into this episode again, and I think maybe if you walk into it with that frame of mind, that this is you're subsetting just T'Challa and he is going to be just this Peter Quill, well then if that's how you start the episode, I looked at it as, what if the Black Panther, what if T'Challa and everything we know about him would have been the one to go into space, not him just all of a sudden becoming goofy, but you still take that same individual and you just replace the one goofball that was there. It started off when he, instead of putting the damn gravitational device on the floor to draw the thing out, he held that bitch and drew the damn Infinity Stone to him. That genius right there, just like, why am I doing this ass backwards? I'm going to use this damn device to grab the damn Infinity Stone instead of the way that Peter Quill did it. When you start there, you already see the genius that this character already has.
But he didn't have the herb yet, though.
But he wasn't Black Panther because he was taking
Tom and also Ryan are missing something I think which is essential to what if. And the Watcher tells us at the beginning, where one thing changes, everything changes. I was looking at the fact that T'Chaka is still alive and the events of Winter Soldier did not happen. What would have happened? And obviously Killmonger did not come onto the scene either. So everything, because of that one thing, that one change, T'Chaka, I guess, gets to keep the secret, or maybe goes down a different path and doesn't kill his brother. I mean, those are the things which I think this episode inspired. So it didn't matter to me all the other things like Ego. It didn't matter. I just knew that because that one essential change was made, everything else changes. So I just went with it.
I think my major gripe is just how weak Thanos was. People just don't understand how powerful Thanos is. And it's just like, really, dude? You're getting your ass kicked by two of the members of the Black Order? I'm like, what?
But let's take into consideration that one of the reasons Thanos was so powerful is that he spent all of his time perfecting his fighting ability, and he had, even without the Infinity Stones, his armor was very impressive. And he had teleportation, he had all these things, he had oriented, he had been collecting weaponry from across the galaxy. We don't know what sort of enhancements he had done. And the Black Order were not cowed by him. We never saw the Black Order fight Thanos. Not that I'm saying not Corvus Glaive, the big dude.
I don't talk about
Obsidian.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We never saw him fight Thanos. We saw him fight on behalf of Thanos. So we don't know. I don't think Cull Obsidian ever fought the Hulk. We know that he was kicking major ass on Earth. I'm just saying we never saw him face off. Proxima Midnight is a different thing, but Proxima was doing strategic hits, hitting his pressure points. She was knocking him down, and Cull Obsidian was really beating his ass. And just as an aside, I just want to let the audience know, yes, I know Cull Obsidian was the name of the entire group. and not just the name of that one guy like they changed it in the comic books. But
Right.
I mean, in the movies. But the point is that he was not as ruthless because he had abandoned his thing. He hadn't devoted the last 20 years of his life to becoming the perfect warrior. And so, just like with anything, he's not the same Thanos. So you're right.
Like plot
he isn't
armor.
the same Thanos.
It seems like plot armor.
It's a 30-minute cartoon.
I'm just telling you, I don't like it.
He may have been getting hit,
I don't like it, man.
But he was nowhere near death. He wasn't bleeding. He had no bones broken.
Well,
he was sitting there taking all those blows.
Killed. I'm just like, you can stab him with that. It ain't gonna kill him.
Yeah. But him getting stabbed and killed, Gamora thought she was going to stab him in the neck with the damn sword.
Now that's the thing. I missed like Liz, and this got glossed over. I missed Gamora.
Yes.
They're probably
the
saving
Nebula
her.
connection was fine. That was fine. But I guess we're supposed to understand that since Thanos wasn't Thanos, he also didn't go to her world.
Her planet,
Destroy it. So he never encountered her, and she therefore never became the most
just like
woman in the
just
galaxy.
like Drax's daughter and wife were alive.
Right. No, I get it. That didn't make me miss her any less. I understand why it had to happen, but I still missed Gamora. And when she first came on, I was like, "Wow, Gamora's the wrong color." And then I was like, "Oh, that's."
I know, right?
That makes perfect sense.
And you had a Nebula who was not tortured for the past 20 years. And
some of the things in this episode didn't make
still
sense.
didn't
That
like
made
her
perfect sense
stepfather.
to me.
Or her adopted father.
Well,
he still conquered her planet.
Issues.
He still conquered her planet.
But that's before he met T'Challa. Cha-cha.
He got Gamora long before.
Oh yeah.
Thanos had captured Nebula long before he had even gotten to
his full
Gamora. Yeah. And remember, Gamora is starring in her own episode. So we are going to see her where you got Gamora who is wielding the armor of Thanos and supposedly tearing through the damn universe.
Do we know if Zoe's doing the voice for her?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
So
there says she is doing the voice.
Interesting aside. As I was looking for voice credits, do you know how they have named the character that Michael B. Jordan is playing in What If?
No.
King Killmonger.
Which episode of What If?
It's the Tony Stark episode.
Oh.
And Chris Hemsworth apparently is doing Thor because he's doing the party Thor. Calling him Party Thor. And what's his name? Ruffalo is doing Hulk, probably in the Party Thor episode. Tony isn't doing anything, and I didn't see another Jeremy Renner reference. Okay, that was interesting. But it looks like the only ones who actually aren't doing their voices from the real core Avengers cast are ScarJo, RDJ, and Chris Evans.
Yeah. All the ones who are out.
And this episode can't be slept on.
Oh my gosh! Did you see that meme? Did you see the Civil War meme? So
no.
The Civil War meme it's on the top. It's the people who are fighting with Cap, and it's like married, lives out his life, retires, becomes Captain America, lives 100 years, and whoever the fourth person was. And then on the bottom, it's Tony's team. It's
dead.
Black Widow dead. Vision dead. Tony dead.
Yeah.
Paralyzed. And let's see for Spider-Man. Oh, Ant-Man retired and lives with his family. Hawkeye retired and lives with his family. Dead, paralyzed. Maybe he's okay.
I just want to interject one thing before we move on from What If. This episode for me was also very good because they had 95% of the real actors voicing these roles. It made it more substantive. It meant something to me as a fan where I knew that this was not some disjointed, disembodied, animated property which had no connection to the MCU with the exception of the names of the characters. It meant something to me when I heard Thanos and it was Josh Brolin. It meant something to me when I heard Yondu and it'd be Michael Rooker. All those things really meant something in terms of the power of this episode because after a while, I forgot it was animated. For me, it was an episode of the Avengers, if you will. It just wasn't live action.
I think the only voice who wasn't the original was Drax. It wasn't Dave Bautista.
It wasn't.
I think that's the only actor who didn't come back to revoice the character. I mean, Chris Griffin was in it even.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, look, this was a special episode. I think on all accounts, there's an interview with Michael Rucker, and he talks about how special it was for everyone and how it meant so much for everyone to come in. And there were reshoots and retakes where they were adding to this story because they wanted to flesh it out, because everyone wanted to be a part of this story, you know, after it passed. So they brought in people. They say, okay, look, we're going to redo this. You down to do it? Okay, cool. So everyone wanted to be a part of this one.
Kurt Russell had like 4 words in the whole episode.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
But it meant something when he showed up.
When he showed up, you felt
Yeah.
it. Like, okay, he
I mean,
he saved the universe with Thanos. But ego's here.
They really did cap it off with that beautiful end credit thing. I mean, that was that was very lovely, and it was nice to hear Boseman. And of course, the character designs of the animated characters are track with the physical actors, with the exception of Yoked Collector. I have to say, I was confused because I'm used to seeing Benicio del Toro and having him look as Latin.
Did not sound like him at all.
It did not sound like him to me.
I
was like,
I had to check, like, oh, okay, this is Benicio del Toro.
And I was like,
does not sound like him at all.
When he first started speaking, I was like, what, Benicio was busy? And then when I Googled it, I was like, oh, okay, that's fine, I guess. Oh, and the thing about Hela's helmet being the thing that gave you the ability to throw the necro daggers, that was a neat little twist.
Yeah.
Right.
I did like him using his arsenal, and I did like the girl who dies grabbing the Power Stone in the first movie, getting her little revenge, and I kind of like the zombie attack group, being freed from their cages. The Duck. And Seth Green,
Chris
Green is Seth Green, the Duck.
Chris Griffin right there.
And then you had Cap's. You had Cap's shield there.
I think I saw Thor's hammer as well. I think
I definitely saw Cap's shield.
I saw that.
I don't recall seeing Thor's hammer. I'm not saying it wasn't there, but Cap's shield was an interesting byproduct because it begs the question: well, how did he get it?
Well, did you see the Grandmaster's ship in the background?
I saw a Xanadarian ship, one of the Nova Corps ships.
I saw that.
The Grandmaster's
was in the middle at the bottom, his brother's ship. So I was like, okay.
But see, that's what I said. They're rewarding the fans. If you've seen all the movies, all that will mean something.
Yeah.
So
a lot of Easter eggs in this episode.
Yeah, in this episode, there's a lot.
It's like I said in the chat. Marvel has created something where no matter what you're doing, no matter if you're in between movies, no matter if you don't have a series on deck, no matter if there's another pandemic, you can put What If on. And any time of the year, nobody's not going to watch this. Nobody's not going to watch this show. Everybody is going to be engaged. We'll see by the end of this first 9-episode arc if there is some sort of bigger multiverse payoff. I'm not counting on it, but if they are indeed ending with Ultron having the Infinity Gauntlet and trying to run shit, then that's definitely setting the stage.
With James Spader.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
These shows are fan service, and I love it. I love it.
Yes, he does.
I mean, the simple fact that they can actually they can choose any film within the Marvel Cinematic Universe and pick any moment in the film that was significant and just flip it. You have seasons forever. You've got already, 20 plus films and series to choose from where you could change anything.
But here's
change
the thing.
anything.
It's not even limited at this point. It's not even limited to the movies anymore.
No.
Because now you know the characters. So now you can, even though obviously they're building off the movies because you have this huge bank of voice talent that's willing to play ball with you, you can explore other things that the fans haven't seen. What if Pietro had survived? And you go to Wundagore.
Yeah.
You have a perfect way to introduce any X-Men you want. You have a perfect way to introduce Fantastic Four if you want, or play in the Fantastic Four sandbox. You can do anything because you're now telling people. You could do hour-long episodes where there is no movie backstory and spend the first 10 minutes explaining what the characters did and then how it's changed. you can do anything with this series now.
You can do that, but that might happen in season 2, bringing in new characters.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because Kevin Feige, has come out and said that you can't use any characters people have not seen before in this first season.
Yeah,
the
first season's in the can.
So,
clear, we all know that he's tracking stuff, but we've never seen Marvel Zombies, and we know that Marvel Zombies undergirds, so you've got these zombie
different versions of the character, though.
It is. Well, we haven't yet seen who else is zombified. We do know that apparently Peter Parker is fighting zombies with he's got
Mysterio,
the Sorcerer Supreme's. That's Stephen Strange's cloak.
Oh,
that's Stephen Strange's levitation cloak.
Yeah,
so
he's Peter Parker zombie hunter.
Yeah, and so that may be playing into the integrated Spider-Man costume that we're going to see in No Way Home, which they're now putting apparently a whole lot of juice into, explaining how it's got the runes and mystical protections and blah 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 blah. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on with that movie, but it remains to be seen. I mean, I can't wait to see the new trailer, which I hope, or the first trailer, I hope is coming. There are rumors that maybe Shang-Chi.
That's what I'm hearing.
I mean, that makes the most sense, especially since, to Mo's point, they're driving enthusiasm 3 weeks before release.
Let's talk about it.
It's 2 weeks. And it makes perfect sense.
3 Fridays.
Yeah.
So it makes perfect sense. When you're faced with
15 days.
When you're faced with a world that right now is on the verge of relocking down, people who are already shitting bricks over folks getting sick. I got family members currently who got hit with that shit, who are vaccinated, who are like, fuck it, I ain't going nowhere. Right. And then you have a bunch of actors and producers and people who want to control your money saying you must put this in theaters. Oh shit. Disney's trying to make sure that they pack that theater as much as they possibly can. They've already seen what's happened with their releases, big name stars attached to their films. They said, wow, The Rock only pulled in this many people.
Yes.
Wow, Black Widow only pulled in this many people.
Let's pause
We can't fuck around with this.
I understand about The Rock, but the problem that it's still Jungle
that movie
Cruise.
was trash.
Yeah, I know it, but he has never not done well in box office. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah,
he had people in theaters for Skyscraper. He literally had people there.
Rampage.
He had people in seats. Those films both made money. So I'm saying, but that's all they need. They needed that first weekend. They needed the first weekend, which they aren't getting.
Jungle Cruise was not going to pull anybody.
It was. I'm with
Jungle Cruise is not going to pull anybody. It
now,
could be anybody in that film, and Jungle Cruise is not going to do it.
If Black Adam had failed, I would agree with you, because Black Adam is a movie that people want to see The Rock in.
But you got to remember, Shang-Chi doesn't have an established bankable star leading the way, which makes COVID an even larger variable in the equation.
Shang-Chi, if you want to talk about characters no one knows, unless you collect comic books, you don't know who Shang-Chi is. You have never heard of this character before.
The only reason why I will disagree with you is because push Black Widow to the side. This is the first movie that we're about to get that is finally pushing, and since COVID, pushing the story forward. And I want to see this story, the next phase, actually taking place. I haven't seen a movie since Spider-Man that is finally pushing this story forward. Black Widow was like, it was good, but who cares?
You thought it was Liz, that's us, right? That's nerd folks. Regular folks who have all this hate against this dude, who have hate still against just the Asian audience, who don't want to see an Asian superhero more than they didn't want to see a Black superhero. Again, a character no one knows anything about.
But you know what? Here's the differentiating factor. Let's take a look at F9. F9 did all of its business overseas.
Yep.
And you have a character who is solidly targeted at the 1.2 billion people in China
that isn't locked down.
That isn't locked down. The
but
hundreds
Japan
of millions
is.
of people. Well, true, but there are still people who are going to movies in Japan. I'm not saying that they're locked down.
Mm-hmm.
They're not locked down. I'm just saying that you have markets of underrepresented people, some of which are locked down to a great extent, some of which are not locked down at all. And this movie is squarely targeted. Now, the director, notwithstanding, you know, other issues of blah, blah, blah. The point is that this is a movie marketed to Asian people. And F9, aside from Vin Diesel, who really isn't even that important to it anymore, none of those actors in those movies, Charlize Theron, okay, they're still huge because of the franchise. And Shang-Chi is going to be as big as it's going to be. It's not going to match up to the other MCU films, but the franchise is the MCU.
Right. That is the franchise.
That's the way.
But if it was about having a lead
hate.
Asian in the film and that being something that was going to be a selling point overseas, guess what would have done better? Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes did nothing. A big action film that they spent a shit ton of money in Asia on Snake Eyes.
Absolutely.
And it did nothing.
But the difference is he's not a name actor either.
Oh, Henry Golden out there is.
Henry Golden
because of Crazy Rich Asian.
Absolutely, but he's still fresh and new. And this wasn't a romantic movie. It wasn't the sequel to Crazy Rich Asians. It was him doing something that he's a model and a pretty boy. And my wife hated him as Snake Eyes because she's in the Mo camp of he's supposed to be a white guy.
Yeah,
and not
talk.
Can we? No,
Jet Li,
you're in the Liz camp.
But are you saying that Henry Golden?
Guys, it would have been a different thing.
Are you saying that Henry Golden is less popular than Simu Lee? Because no one knows him. No one watches the convenience store show. No one's ever seen it.
You know what people have seen? $9-10 billion of MCU films, and nobody gave a fuck about those goddamn G.I. Joe films. Nobody liked them.
And here's
this
the problem
reboot
with G.I. Joe.
Had bad luck because of the
G.I. Joe
pandemic.
is not Asian. Like, I mean, the notion of
it doesn't play the same way. Wait, Tuala, you're out.
Let me jump in while Tuala's out. I think the analog here is Mulan, not Snake Eyes, because Mulan was a solidly Asian cast. Yes, it had some Chinese pushback. There were some things that they did not like about the movie itself, but it was a solidly Asian Chinese property in its conception. So it's a function of whether there will be enough butts in seats to propel this movie when, yes, we are banking on the MCU brand, not the Shang-Chi brand, not this lead actor's brand. I don't know if there are enough screenings of this movie to give the amount of financial return that they would hope for. And honestly, this 45-day window, we talked about it offline, this 45-day window, it may be moot if only because I don't know if there's going to be a 45-day of viewing of Shang-Chi in theaters before it even gets to the Disney Plus app. And there's no money to be made at that point because there won't be any premium fee attached. So this is an experiment, to use the term of Marvel, where there's a lot riding on this movie. And I don't know if they're going to get the financial return that they would hope.
No, the best they could hope for is to match Black Widow. Or the worst they could hope for that would be even moderately conceivable or acceptable is to match Black Widow, which is a strong underperformance. On the outside chance, they might match the international box office gross of F9.
Can I say?
If they're amazingly lucky. And I agree, Mo, that the same forces that worked against Black Widow minus piracy of COVID, increased fear, everything else, they'll probably make a killing in Texas and Florida.
I'm going to say this,
intended,
though.
But
I'm looking at ticket sales right now on that Thursday night, and half of the theaters are sold. Multiple showings, and this is 2 weeks out.
Yeah, but do we know the capacity of those theaters? Do we know whether it's 50% capacity?
No, he's talking about seats. He's talking about
seats.
No,
right now,
how many seats are? What Mo is asking is, are you looking at IMAX with 500 seats, or are you looking at theaters that only hold 150 people.
I'm looking
when you're
at,
looking at
right
rooms.
now, I'm looking at Delamo, and all of them are like, number one, it's not as many. One of the reasons why stuff like Endgame and Black Panther was able to be so successful because it was the only thing showing for especially Black Panther.
It was shown in 4 or 5 different screens per theater, and I don't think they're going to get that type of coverage.
Well, some of the movie theaters, there was nothing else playing but Black Panther, at least for the first week. But I mean, I'm looking at it's a lot of screens that are showing, and a lot of them are half, which it looks like it's going to do pretty, on par with.
But that's opening night. Does it have the legs to carry itself those 6 weeks to get to the 45 days?
45 days, right?
I don't believe it.
I don't think it'll have legs to carry it 2 weeks.
2. That's my concern. 2
and that's 3. The problem. It could be as good as it wants to be. The theaters on opening day could be as sold out as they want to be sold out. Does it have the legs to carry itself?
My thing
but that's why they're doing the preview so early. The preview so early is strictly for hype. They need people, they need fans out there hyping it, pumping it up, because they have to get, if you're trying to push this film the way that they are, you got to get butts in those seats first day. You've got to get people in there first day. You have to pack the theaters out. It can't be Black Widow packed, because as you know, Liz, Black Widow wasn't packed.
Okay,
I'm saying that the seats are sold 2 weeks ahead of time, and this is how it was for Black Widow the day that I bought tickets. So the notion that it's already 2 weeks at the capacity of what I'm seeing at Black Widow the day before, and you have 2 weeks for people to go buy tickets. I haven't bought my ticket yet. So I think it's a possibility that you're going to get a bigger box office for this one than you definitely did for Black Widow.
First weekend.
Hopefully, because you want whatchamacallits out there pumping it up. You want all these trades pumping it up. You want all these critics pumping it up. And so far the reviews are glowing. You get those type of endorsements from, this isn't about nerds. This is about Disney saying we need everyone to go see this film. This film has to win. They're already talking about, we'll see how this experiment works. Well, the experiment is putting something in theaters only.
So
remember, they don't have that streaming cushion. They don't have that.
We have a question from the audience, and he says, here's a question for all of us. What do you think of Chapek's flub in calling Shang-Chi an experiment, since you just did the same thing 4 times in the last sentence, Tuala? Was it intentional shade or just a mistake? Now, I'll say this. The closest to Mo's point, the closest analog we have of the possibility of success is F9. Because it's similar genre, it had a similar 45-day cinematic exclusive window. Now, they ended up at 600 million plus international, which makes it the most successful, probably the most successful COVID film. Black Widow is only at 367 million, so that's definitely not like that. But the question is, can the Marvel franchise, like the Fast and Furious franchise, can it push it because there's nothing in its way? If they were going up against F9, I'd say much bigger problem.
But see, that's the experiment.
And that's the thing. They've got to figure out if it's possible in this environment to release movies that are going to be profitable. The Suicide Squad had a worse second week drop off than Black Widow, 71%. That the point is that the original Suicide Squad made more than $900 million.
Right. That's the point.
Suicide Squad,
which was a good movie, by the way.
It's a better movie than the first one.
Yes.
That's it, Tom.
You're the only person who hated the movie, Liz. You're the only person in here.
It's a better movie than the first
Don't brought me nothing.
It
opened
at 31 million, and the second week was in the teens.
To go see.
That's
I risked my life for nothing, but
folks who saw it and folks who went to the theaters and enjoyed it, there are a lot of people who did go to theaters. They didn't go back.
But you can also
there aren't a lot of films that people are going to go back and go see. There just aren't right now. Fast and Furious, and most of Fast and Furious money was overseas.
That's why
which is fine. With this film here. With this film here, hopefully it does have that kind of window. We all want to see it succeed, and I hope that it does live up to the high praise that it's getting so far. I think it will. I don't think that it won't. I'm just talking about why they did the premiere so early, because it's a different release for them for right now for COVID, not in a normal Marvel Cinematic movie release year. Right now, untested product, theaters only, no streaming backup. Shit. I need everyone in there.
Let's address Rewalker's question. And that's the essence of what we're discussing, and the whole reason of this, why it's called an experiment. Disney is wondering whether they can make money, because when they stream it on Disney Plus, that's all cash to them. They don't have to share that with anyone.
Right.
So Disney wants to know whether they can make Black Widow money without putting it on the Disney Plus app. And the question was, with F9, was that streamed? No,
it was not.
And Suicide Squad,
they were able to make their money. Right. They were able to make their money and maintain a semblance of a traditional theatrical release pattern in the streaming era, because outside of HBO Max, who is literally putting all of their shit on Front Street soon with no fee.
And the Suicide Squad was streamed
that
midnight on Thursday. So those of us, I was the only one it was two of us. Anthony and I were the only two who ventured to the theater to see the Suicide Squad.
Right.
Well, we didn't have to. We could have sat at the house and watched
That's what I did.
The Suicide Squad.
And that was definitely not a movie to test that theory on, because nobody was trash.
That's why.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, Ree had a good point. What's the incentive? If all I have to do is wait 45 days and I get to watch it on Disney Plus for free, then what's my incentive?
But honestly, that's true in the streaming era. That's true of any moviegoer. You have different sorts of moviegoers. You have people who want to go see it on the big screen, want to enjoy that experience, want to have their entire minds blown by super loud speakers and shit, especially for superhero movies. I'm not that type of person. I'm not going to see Sophie's Choice if it's released in a movie theater. That's just not me.
But Tom, you're missing one thing, because when we're talking about Shang-Chi versus Black Widow, there's no money on the back end for Disney.
Absolutely.
After that 45-day window where Black Widow's like, they still got my $30. They got something out of me.
Right.
And if I want to wait 45 days for Shang-Chi, they're not getting anything.
And most of us, Mo, we went to see it and paid $30.
And I will pay the money to go see it in theaters.
I know Tom did the
So let me ask you this. Do we know, have they already announced that 45 days later it's going to be free, or have they not?
It's free.
Honestly, you know what? Here's the
straight to the app.
If we're going to talk about the real experiment, school started this week. And the real experiment is this. Can you make it 45 days? I don't.
Can you, Liz? Can you? Damn it. Say that loud, Liz.
I think we will be able to make it at least 2 weeks to get
Liz,
to that
in the 2 days that school has been open, in the first 2 or 3 days now, I have gotten at least 4 calls from the school district saying someone at my children's school, at both of their schools, 2 calls from my daughter's school, 2 calls from my son's school. There is a student on campus that's got COVID.
Yep.
The fuck is going to happen in 45 days from now?
That's the concern.
No, 60 days from now. 60 days.
Yeah, you got 15.
Yes.
Right.
I think that we can make it to, I think Disney is like, look, we're going to make it that first weekend and then we'll see. And I think that's what is going to happen. And they're banking on the excitement. Again, I still think they're banking on the excitement of Spider-Man. That Spider-Man was the first thing after. This is really the second thing. Sorry, Black Widow's really a blip.
Yeah.
This is the second thing that is really pushing the story forward. And like I said about Spider-Man, Spider-Man is one of the movies that is terrific to see in 3D. And from what I'm seeing from when I went to see the films in Dolby, and I see the preview in Dolby. I think this one's going to be another one of those that you want to see in 3D and Dolby. And I think this is where they're banking on people wanting to see it in specialized screens that first weekend, and then the shutdown is bound to happen.
To that point, I also think they're also banking on people like me that have to see it the first day because they're worried about spoilers. Yeah. I am so invested in the MCU. I don't give a damn about the DC universe. I could have waited 45 days for the city to see the Suicide Squad. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Even though it was a good movie, but 45
years.
No, but like I don't want to be spoiled. I mean, no, I have to see it.
I feel you on that, Ryan. That's the only reason that I'm even tempting the idea of seeing this in theaters. But I am actually worried. Again, family member in my own household, right next, got hit with that shit. It's very real at that point. Yeah. It's very, very real. And I'm like, damn it, fucking Shang-Chi, are you worth COVID?
Here's another thing that I think is worth mentioning, because this is something that the MCU has been very adept at doing almost from Jump Street. None of their movies are only superhero movies.
Yes.
Captain America, superhero spy franchise. Iron Man is superhero movie, buddy movie. Guardians of the Galaxy, superhero movie, heist movie. Ant-Man, same thing, heist movie. You've got Thor, who had the fantasy elements, Lord of the Rings and superheroes. And then it turned into, by the time we got to Ragnarok, another buddy movie. This is a martial arts movie.
Mm-hmm. Those are big.
It's not just a superhero movie. And in the way, to Liz's point, I think she nailed it, actually. G.I. Joe, in an imperialistic, anti-colonialistic universe right now, G.I. Joe does not have the same sort of international legs as something which is superheroes who are doing kung fu. And this certainly isn't aluminum wrist. So this is a legit martial arts movie. Everything, all the little reviews, and grain of salt, Ryan, I'm with you. Every fight sequence is better than the previous one.
Yeah.
This is a martial arts movie for real. This movie has heart.
Yeah.
It's Shakespearean in terms of the family dynamics, but also a family film.
Yes.
It's this, it's that. It's a whole
champagne.
And it's only in theaters for 4 days.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And so what I'm guessing, because this is the sort of the theater occupancy and pre-ticket sales that we're looking at are certainly exciting to Disney. But Disney overestimated the box office on Black Widow, and the only thing that saved their bacon was Premier Pass.
Yeah. Yep.
They said we're looking at 120 million, and the prognosticators are like, oh, they're being coy. They weren't being coy.
They were not.
So if the exclusive window and Asian market attendance and lack of perfect digital copies piracy, plus no spoilers, plus it's a martial arts film, plus there's no competition, plus it is an essential part of the new realm of the Phase 4. And Liz, I swear to God, I saw a crow feather fly out your mouth, because up until you found out that shit was not true, you were sure that Black Widow was going to be an anchor.
Because it makes no sense.
So now you're right.
You got one thing. Disney is also banking on repeat business. They gotta have people to go back to the movies, not once but twice, as we did.
If people go see it once, it's a problem.
No.
If people see this film once, it is a complete and utter wrap.
But I'm telling you, there's a lot of people that are very impatient and want to see this movie as soon as they can, because they don't want to wait. I'm telling you, I think it's going to do well.
Perspective. If it doesn't do well with the 45-day window, it strengthens their case against ScarJo.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
And so they're playing both sides of this right now.
Yeah, they are.
They know that COVID has fucked everything. They know they're probably not going to recoup, the baseline expenses of the movie. What they're looking for is some sort of energy that says, but we beat F9, or but we were the second most profitable film of the year. That's the best they can hope for. They have no visions of Sugar Plums of 800, 900 million. It's just not going to happen.
Well, now, and they've already hedged their bet with this whatchamacallit deal that they did with Cruella 2. They're already like, we've
Right.
revised our digital deals. We're not worried about anything that Scarlett Johansson has to say. We're not. We've already fixed that.
Oh no. Oh yeah, no.
We fixed that. We're good, y'all.
But what scares me is I think this throws Spider-Man into doubt.
Yep.
Yes.
How that's going to be rolled out, whether it's going to be pushed back altogether. Worst case scenario. Eternal. Absolutely.
Eternal, yeah.
Yeah, because everybody's going to want to see Spider-Man.
And and that Spider-Man, especially when you're doing multi-man, can you imagine what that's going to look like in 3D? Like, I mean, it's just going to be beautiful to watch in 3D.
Imagine it on acid in 3D.
Well, I'll tell you what.
I had a friend who did that for the first one, but that's another story.
Yeah.
Motherfucker was with me.
I have used my A-list to go. I'm going to go see Free Guy this weekend because I'm kind of excited about Free Guy and I'd like to support it. And I booked Candyman for next weekend because I want to support Jordan Peele and Nia DaCosta.
Say it 4 more times.
Abdul.
Let me log off first.
Candyman.
I'm not going to do that.
So I'm supporting, and I will definitely be. I'm going to be first possible show. I'm toying with the idea of what format I'm going to see. All of the tickets I've been booking because it's A-list. I've been booking the premium. So instead of paying $21.49 per ticket, it's included in my monthly thing. But I'm going to do the same thing for Shang-Chi. I'm definitely going to see it in some premium format, whatever the glossiest format it can be. And I just wonder if until this pandemic is over, whether or not, to Mo's point, we're just going to get stuff pushed back. I mean, obviously they're not filming too much right now. So they're not really technically upsetting release schedules. They're just going to, they might push it back, but
again,
they're not interfering with their other films because it's all fucked right now.
For Disney Plus, with what they put together for the, who was it? Emma Stone, who was Cruella.
Yeah.
For what they say they put together for that deal, they no longer have to worry about pushing stuff back. If Shang-Chi does well, great. We could rock with theaters. With where we all know this is going, they've already set it in place. We don't have to worry about pushing nothing back. Because if it doesn't do good, they're like, look, we are streaming same day forevermore. And you all can just get on board or get the fuck on in court.
Now, you know what would be ultimate shade? If they give Emma Stone the Tower of Terror movie.
Can we? I mean, Scarlett is over here, had a baby,
just had
pregnant,
a baby.
Had a baby, didn't even know, like, even when she was on tour, didn't even know that no wonder she looks so tired. You know, I don't know. I wonder about even, okay, this is the shady part of me, is I wonder about why tell that now?
Why tell what now? I mean, the Cruella 2 thing?
No, that I had a baby.
Because she had a baby.
Because she had a baby. It's news. She can't say she had a baby.
She hasn't had a baby in months.
What?
The baby didn't just happen.
I know.
We were also on lockdown for 18 months.
No, she went on a tour.
No, I feel what you're saying, Liz. I feel what you're saying.
Widow movie with no baby.
Is this baby like, you know, can you give me a little more sympathy, a little more consideration? Maybe. I feel what you're saying.
Yeah, I only made $20 million on the movie, and I just brought a kid in the world.
But see,
like, come on, like, do you know how much it takes to raise a kid nowadays?
The question
and then
is,
you did this because I'm a working mom.
How much over studio expense before her bonus kicks in? Because the movie didn't cost $367 million, although they don't get a full share of the international grosses anyway. But does it only kick in after they recoup initial expenses?
Yes.
And so
studio gets paid first. Yes.
Right. Of course. Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. And is it just domestic gross or does it include international gross? Because it would have to be actual studio receipts, not production partners overseas. So you have to take away half of the overseas gross anyway. So if they did give her or renegotiated a piece of the digital streaming, which I think is fair, I think that's certainly fair for them to do that, then we're not talking about that much money. And especially if Shang-Chi tanks in the 45-day window, I really wonder if he wanted to. I believe Ms. Marvel's in the can. You could push you could push Eternals and throw Ms. Marvel on. Nobody would be mad at that. You can't push Spider-Man really.
No.
But you could push Eternals and run Ms. Marvel and Hawkeye and then go to Eternals and then go to Spider-Man. If
depending on what the actual story is. We don't know how interwoven that story is. So but that is a possibility.
I think what's going to end up happening is before they do another shutdown, the movie theaters are going to go back to reduced seating.
I don't think they have to. There's people not showing up.
No, there are people showing up. And
not
I'm saying
full capacity.
Not a full capacity.
No, I'm saying that they're going to reduce it back to. They need to reduce it back to 50%. There's going to be some little negotiation deal to keep Shang-Chi in theaters
and keep theaters open. You're saying
till 45, for that 45-day window. Like this to me makes much more sense because even with instead of trying to push it to say like now we're going to do this 30-day, put to do premium and release. Like I think that what's going to end up happening is try to negotiate to get that 45 to get that reduced seating instead of just shutting it completely down.
I just want to
possibly because that's Warner Brothers deal right now. Warner Brothers and their negotiation with AMC. That's one of the things that they're really trying to fight for is the 45-day window. There's all types of particulars and kickbacks. They're talking about getting back to the studio.
If they put fucking the Suicide Squad on HBO Max day and day.
But Warner Brothers, they're talking with their deal. They're not looking at any of the films that they've told us that they're dropping on the HBO Max app. Those are damn near throwaway films for the studio right now. They're talking about everything from 2022 on a 45-day window.
I just want to add,
that's what they're working on.
Back to Scarlett Johansson. Now she made $20 million for Black Widow. Chris Hemsworth also going to be making $20 million. So it's very hard to feel sorry for Scarlett Johansson.
I still think
here's
that this baby plug that we didn't know she had a baby.
Don't
it's
say
convenient.
Baby plug.
It's convenient that you're telling us now.
Well, I'll say this. Two things because it's
that
probably
means she was
time
negotiating pregnant.
It's probably time to shut down. But the real experiment for the Disney mega parent is Free Guy, because Free Guy, even though they now own it, their pre-existing agreement is such that they can't even bring it to Disney Plus in 45 days. It's got to go to HBO first. So whether or not Free Guy can maintain is going to be a little bit of a canary in the coal mine as far as what the impact of this 45-day theatrical release only window could be for Shang-Chi. Because again, you're dealing with Ryan, who is, even though he's technically not a superhero, he's basically in Ready Player Deadpool. Right. And so, it's very similar in the space. You're definitely marketing to a similar audience. And because Free Guy will have completed at least 4 weeks before Shang-Chi hits theaters, you're not really competing against yourself. You've cleared the decks. Everybody who wants to see Free Guy will have seen it by then. And now Shang-Chi is unimpeded on a Labor Day weekend with the possibility of people who are barbecuing and not seeing it on the first weekend will go out to see it thanks to glowing reviews and word of mouth in second weekend. And if there's nothing else on the schedule, because even Venom has been pushed back a couple of weeks out of its October slot, you have the possibility that the decks are really being cleared to allow perhaps one major blockbuster in theaters at a time so that nobody gets squashed.
And what's even more interesting, Tom, is the fact that word of mouth has made that Free Guy pick up.
They're very happy with Free Guy right now.
Yeah, but I'm saying that
the sequel.
I'm saying that word of mouth has made it to where people who didn't see it on that first weekend, because like me, I went to see Respect this past weekend. So it didn't kill it. It actually was like, okay, well, people were talking this is, and then there were spoilers, not spoilers, but Easter eggs along the way, and people want you to. So I think that there's something to the fact that if it's a pretty good movie, unlike the Suicide Squad, then maybe it can pick up a bit.
The more. Hate is so thick so right now.
Salt. All these flavors, and you choose to be
salty. Man.
Salt.
Hey, real quick, before we get out of here, just want to say how excited I am that Captain America 4 is official. And
starring Anthony Mackie.
That's that's
no doubt.
And wait a minute, and who's one of the chief writers on it?
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
What is his name?
Ryan? Ryan, can you help?
Dalen, I think.
Yes,
is it Dalen?
Yes.
What? You're not serious?
Yes.
Yes. That's what I want. I'm gonna call him and say, man, I'm gonna need one of them shields. Hook a brother up.
Nah, you might get a panty shield. You ain't getting one of them real shields.
Man,
man. That was
very
good news.
That's dope.
That was very good news.
Very, very dope. To me, that's commitment. That's like, you know what? We are committed. We were not playing with you when we did it. It's not make believe. It's not where you're not going to see 2 films from now and you're going to see, Captain Cuck with the shield and we're going to be like, wait, what happened? No, it's not going down. Anthony Mackie is officially coming back as Captain America.
If they did not do a Captain America movie, there would have been, I know for me, I would have been tweeting.
Well, but they would have killed their own
one-woman tweet storm.
They would have made Falcon and Winter Soldier irrelevant. Then they weren't going to do that.
No, they wouldn't.
Yeah.
They've got too much of a good thing, and they have very firmly established that Disney Plus is what ABC never was. It's a viable platform for them to put lower budget, longer form, dramatic superhero content in a small screen space.
Yeah.
They're just going to turn on that printing press with money.
Oh,
it comes out.
It's already.
Yeah.
It's already.
Hey, real quick. Okay. Final thought. Tom, what is next week's What If? Do you have the calendar?
Oh, son of a gun of a. That was a private chat thing, dude.
There's one online. They got a.
Yes. What is the 3rd episode about? Hold on. It is.
Well, before you say
you told us what it is.
Owen Wilson received an anonymous text when he made when he mentioned anything about his hairstyle.
Oh, it's Loki.
Okay, Loki.
It's like Emperor Loki.
Don't say anything.
Okay. All right.
So
Emperor Loki next week. Boom.
Well, yeah, it must be him actually fulfilling what Thanos asked, and
when he conquers Earth,
the planet. Yeah, with the Chitauri. So Emperor Loki next week. So we get another bite at the Loki apple. Any bets on whether or not Alligator Loki is going to make an appearance?
Ryan
wants
that.
He better.
Anything.
I don't think so. Alligator Loki wasn't a big thing. Yeah, this was getting drawn.
Yeah. So
I think it's more Easter egg than anything.
Yeah, it is.
Word up. Word up.
All right. So
there it is. Anthony,
say this before we go, do not watch Beckett on Netflix.
Oh.
Do not.
Oh,
do
man.
not.
No. That should have been called Bucket.
No, hey, don't watch Titan season 3. That is quite possibly the worst, most god awful shit I don't even know what's happening.
It's so hot.
How you have a show that bad? Who greenlit that shit? Yo, like seriously, everyone involved in production quit, and the actors just picked up the cameras and just said, "Well, let's just do whatever we want. We have the time. We have the money." No. That is some of the worst writing, the worst acting, the worst storytelling, the worst every single thing that could possibly happen. Jesus, that shit is horrible. Oh man, that's horrible. Oh, it's real bad. Oh, it's real bad. Fucking bad. Fucking bad, man.
DC.
Damn.
I'm still enjoying The Expanse, and I'm still enjoying The Good Fight.
Wait, what season on Expanse are you on?
I'm midway through first season.
Okay.
I'm about to end the first season of The Good Wife, which I had to turn to because there aren't any more episodes of Good Fight yet.
You'll be okay.
It's 7 seasons long.
Yeah, it's like a prequel. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Oh, and there's so much more. The murderous guy, the skinny murderous guy. You probably haven't gotten to that point yet, Mo, because Sweeney.
Yes,
Sweeney is in The Good Fight.
Sweetie is
all over the Good Wife.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is a murdering bastard. God damn, he's already killed 3
great
people.
I can't remember who plays
the last season of The Good Fight, what they did an election was more of the election, and they did one on the caucus, the Iowa caucus. Love.
Yeah.
Oh, that was 4.
Yeah, season 4.
Season 4. We're in 5 now.
Season 5, they have 8 episodes out.
Yeah.
No, what are we talking about? No, I'm talking about The Good Wife.
Oh,
I'm not talking about The Good Fight. The Good Wife did a whole episode on the Iowa caucus. Like, I mean, both shows are wonderful. I'm not too fond of this last season, but
well, Delroy Lindo is missed, and I also miss Luca.
Yes.
And Mandy Patinkin, he's not one of my favorite actors, and I thought they could have given him more this season.
The thing with the parking tickets, I don't buy. Anyway,
either did I.
Tawala,
I thought that was one of the weakest episodes. But
you gotta close it out.
All right, Anthony.
Oh, do not watch White Lotus. Rewatch
what is White Lotus?
Don't worry about it. You don't want to watch it.
Shit. Do not watch it. Thank you, Reed.
Reed is not on my list. Thank you.
I'm gonna let you know that Beckett, if you ever had an idea of Mr. Washington, and I like him, so I hate to say this.
He ain't his daddy.
No.
Woo! If I
ever
thought that he was gonna come over to an MCU character, Jesus!
All that talk about T'Challa?
Stop the will.
No, he's Tanala.
Tanala.
It looked like he'd been on a COVID diet too.
First of all, thank you. I'm sorry, leading man. You do not get to take off your t-shirt and have love handles. That's not how movies work. Ain't nobody sweating that dad bod, bro. You're too fucking young.
Not after doing ballers and you played a professional football player.
This is
and not after Tenet, when you could barely get in them custom suits with your espresso mispronouncing ass.
Could you believe that he would beat Killmonger?
Hell no. He couldn't beat the cashier at the Dunkin' Donuts where he stayed at.
He couldn't do that whole scene, when now we stripped the Black Panther. He couldn't do that scene. He couldn't take his shirt off.
Hell no, he couldn't.
Can I just leave this on?
Damn it.
Yeah.
Like going in the pool with your t-shirt on? Like,
it's so unrealistic to the point that I'm like, so you mean to tell me you've been shot?
Stabbed,
thrown off a cliff,
and you haven't had a stitch of water, not one crumb of a piece of food.
First of all, you still running? Who thought it was romantic and chemistry building to have you look at older couples and imagine stupid stories about them?
That's a date.
You're so raunchy.
That's not a date. That's not a date.
It was just bad. End our misery, please, Twala.
Yes. It's not on my list. All right, Anthony, for the last time, good sir, take us out.
Good news, everybody.
You see, it's not genocide because it's random.
For someone who didn't really like that episode.
I said I liked it.
Wait, what did you say, Liz?
No, I said multipass.
Oh, you said it. Okay.
Estamos esperando.
Liz?
Hey, Cha-Cha.
Where is my Beckett suit? Oh, I burned that shit because it was trash.
Excelsior!
Remember to like, subscribe, and hit notification on Nerdorama and Mr. Mo Kelly on YouTube. Like, subscribe, notification,
and share.
You have to press and share. F Facebook. We're not doing Facebook no more. Bye.
Okay, damn.
Just so